well, but thank you all who went the extra button to connect via Zoom. That is extremely exciting. My name is Chris Davis. This is part of my 12-month Couch to Content series. When I had the opportunity after getting Elite to join Real Academy, I'm very passionate about talking about video and helping anyone who doesn't know where to start, or maybe they've started and they're really great, but I think this is the 8th one I've done. And each time I've got to meet some really amazing people and learn some stuff myself, but also been able to kind of continue these connections we develop in these classes through just staying in touch in Instagram and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for today. Casey is a really good colleague and friend of mine. He was part of the process when I joined Reel. And now I've just been able to follow along on his video journey, which is equal parts exciting and anxiety ridden in one of the videos we'll talk about later. But Casey, I wanted to just give you a moment to kind of just let everyone know who you are. We heard a little bit about where you're born and how you grew up in a winery, but I know there's much more to the story than that.
Yeah. So I will preface this by saying we're going to be talking a lot about YouTube today. I have a ton of experience in YouTube, more, I guess you could say, over the last 15 years as a consumer. I think I remember, like, I've kind of been through different eras of YouTube where, it was at one point it was like everyone doing pranks, and then it turned into everyone creating daily vlogs, and I've watched a lot of people growing up, just on YouTube myself. I've always wanted to create a YouTube channel. So when I created mine about 3 years ago, it was something that I wanted to probably do for a decade, even before then. But I was probably similar to a lot of folks on here. I was just, I don't have anything to say. I'm not good on video. I don't like my voice, all these things that I think a lot of us deal with when it comes to creating video content, where, my biggest thing at the end of the day was I just hired someone who filmed and edited the videos for me, so I didn't ever have to rewatch them. Like, to this day, I've watched very little of my content because I still don't love my voice. I still don't, love the process. I edited my first 2 YouTube videos, which were vlogs, and it was miserable. But that's not the only way. A lot of people off-source their editing, and a lot of people hire, individuals for a day to come film. But I can tell you, single-handedly creating video content / creating a YouTube, and I'll get, into all of this, is not just changed my real estate business, but changed my life as well. A little bit about me. Got licensed at 27, been licensed for 7 years, been at 2 different brokerages, and found a lot of success pretty quickly. I think my first year I did I kind of went 9 million, 14 million, 20, and then the next 3 years I've done north of 20 million in sales.
Amazing.
Kind of that jump from 14 up to 20 plus was large in part to video. Video, though, and as I said before, I'll get into all the details when it comes to video, but video has not just helped my production, it's helped multiple streams of income. It's helped me build connections. It's even found me a fiance. Video's done a lot for me over the course of the last 3 years, when I've just basically put that, what I think all of us deal with, the obstruction and excuses as far as like, hey, I'm not going to film because of this. I'm not, I don't want to film because of that. And just forgetting about that, putting it aside, and just at the end of the day, filming. So before I got into real estate, I was a high school teacher. I started real estate at 27. And what actually led me to real estate is real estate investing. So even before I got my license, I had about a year of real estate investment books, meetups, podcasts. I just was consumed with real estate investing. So if you look at my YouTube channel, or I guess you could say a lot of my content, it's about investing. Meaning I found something that I could talk about, but I think I started filming YouTube content in 2020, but I got licensed in 2017. So my first 3 years, I did like selfie videos, or I paid a local company to film me. I didn't do a ton of video content for the first 3 years of being licensed. Also, during that period, I was trying to close as many transactions as possible. But the first thing that I would suggest, or I suggest to people looking to create a channel, is make sure that whatever you're filming, you actually enjoy talking about. You know, shoot, I don't even know. I have to look it up real quick. How many? And I'm gonna get here in a second about the additional YouTube channels that I just began creating as well. But I think I'm at like 200. Am I really missing 200? Yeah, 267 videos. So if you imagine something that you guys talk about, and all of my videos range from at least 5 to 8 minutes, upwards of 20 minutes, multiply that by 267 videos, you're going to get bored and burnt out real fast if you're talking about something that you don't care about.
Mhm.
So my first niche and where I started to build clientele, and I kind of went against the grain in terms of what a lot of people will tell you to do when it comes to YouTube channels. It's not the right way. It's not the wrong way. I decided to cast a large net rather than a local net, if that makes sense. So, you know, Cassandra, you mentioned that you're up in Vancouver. If you create a lot of content that's local based, you're going to get a lot of you know, especially as you become more and more consistent, you're going to get a lot of local business, meaning that you are going to get over flooded with people that want you to potentially purchase or buy, sell, or invest. And you only have 24 hours in your day, right? So realistically, it winds up turning into too much business for yourself. You know, maybe have to bring on some assistance or help. Um, Me personally, my audience when I created my YouTube channel was across the country. Meaning I wasn't creating local content for my local region and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I started talking about investing in real estate. I think we can all agree that investing in real estate can be applied in Maine, up where Chris is, in Texas, where I'm at, you know, wherever you may be, people are likely buying homes, purchasing homes as investment properties. You know, maybe, I mean, heck, even in expensive markets such as like San Diego and stuff, people are still buying investment properties. So I now get people from all over the country that reach out to me wanting to invest in real estate, and I refer them to Chris or I refer them to Cassandra. So my YouTube channel has become this sense of referrals that all I do is I take about a 10-minute intro call, make sure that their credit's good, make sure that they're, you know, they've got down payment, make sure that they are, you know, maybe they're already pre-qualified or able to get pre-qualified. And then I pass them off to an agent, you know, in whatever given city or state.
Can
Now
I
there's,
just ask a question right there? Because
yeah,
I don't want to,
no,
just
you're
for the
good.
sake of this being recorded and people coming in, I don't want to overshadow the fact of like why YouTube. So
Mhm.
that is a key uh indicator, I guess, right there of the success of your video. So like what is that conversation when Jack and Jill reach out to you because they saw an investment video? Like what is the question they are asking that leads you to then take that next step, which results in a referral?
Yeah, so a lot of, and this also, I mean, it still works with my local market. I get people, and I've like
Yeah.
one particular client I've had reach out to me wanting to invest in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It turned into, I think we're at 4 or 5 transactions closed at this point since 2020.
Wow.
So it works nationally, but it also works, you know, locally in my market. But what I will tell you is when people reach out to you from a video or maybe in a channel that they've been following for a significant amount of time, there's already that built-in trust and understanding of who you are and what you provide because they've been following
Yep.
you for whether or not a week or 2 years. You know, I what's probably the most recent example I met with a local client at a Starbucks for about 2 hours on a couple weeks ago, Wednesday evening. Um, I'm going to help them probably purchase homes over the course of the next 20 or 30 years, starting with a primary house that they purchase and look to move out of, you know, in 3 to 5 years and turn it into a rental. But he's
Gotcha.
been following me for a while, and there's already that built-in trust knowing that, hey, I invest in real estate, I know what I'm doing, and it's not just, you know, Joe Blow off the street where, you know, you've got to kind of interview them. Like I don't interview very often for any of my referrals, meaning I don't have to sit here and try to sell them on me.
Right.
If you're getting clients from YouTube, oftentimes it's because they know, like, and trust you already and believe that you're going to be able to provide the given thing that they're reaching out to you for. Um, And then, if it is someone that's out of state or out of my local area, then I do a little bit of research if I don't have an agent in that local market to make sure that they're going to be able to provide the same kind of service I do. And then from there, it's just keeping up with, um, you know, referrals at that point. I think in
Yeah.
22 and 23, I gave north of 60 referrals out from
Wow.
YouTube. So you can see
That didn't
what.
even cross my mind as like a result of this. Like, I guess my
Yeah,
mind is so I'm going to showcase Maine. We have coasts, we have mountains, we have it's all inbound, right? But then that
yeah.
idea of, which kind of leads me to, one of my big questions for you is like when I do look at your channel, and I know there's a lot of talk now of having multiple channels, like do the property tour channel, do this channel, but like, what shows up when I search you on YouTube, you have your like top hitting video about addiction, then you have a lot of real estate stuff. Like, do you give a lot of focus on keeping it all around investment now, or are you still like feeling like, oh, I'm going to infill some of my more personal stuff?
So this is actually something that I'm dealing with recently. And my channel has, so I would say I was one of the early adopters of YouTube when it comes to real estate agents and uploading videos on YouTube. I basically uploaded 2 in 2019 and then didn't for a whole year. And then I hired a full-time videographer and editor. Now, with that came a lot of knowledge from me just being a consumer and what a consumer wants, that I wound up kind of, and this is a lesson learned when it comes to YouTube, and this is something that if you guys are interested in creating a YouTube channel, or maybe you already have one or are looking to build one, learn from my mistakes, because there wasn't a lot of guidance, there wasn't a lot of like people that knew to do this or to do that.
Yeah.
The issue with my channel is it has progressively grown over time, but I've not had the binge watcher. The type of individual that comes to my channel and can watch all 267 videos of mine. And
That
the
would be
reason,
a lot.
yeah, but the main reason why is because my topics on my channel, because I've been filming for 3+ years,
Yeah.
I, in a sense, got burnt out of filming about one particular subject, and my interest then kind of changed to another topic that didn't partake with my previous content. So I'll give you an example.
Got it.
I have videos that have helped me attract agents to Real, talking about Real versus this, or my, 3 years at Real, or, the experience that I've had at Real, or breaking down Real, which have done great because they're searchable content, but real estate agents are searching for those content, that content, right? Because they're curious to see if Real is a good fit.
Yeah.
They generally speaking aren't going to watch a video that's about real estate. They may watch, about real estate investing. Now, I also have a pretty interesting story, I guess you could say. I've battled with a pretty bad addiction early in my teens and 20s, and I thought it would be a good idea to just be open and candid with folks and talk about that. Uh, and it doesn't have anything to do with real estate investing, and it has nothing to do with Real or being a real estate agent. So I've got this like group of folks that have subscribed to my channel that are either dealing with an addiction or have dealt with one before. Then I have like a pocket of folks that are subscribed to my channel that are realtors. Then I have another pocket of, my channel that are investors or wanting to invest. So I've got a very, I guess, combobulated group of subscribers. Now, the issue
Yeah.
with that is that kind of thwarts growth, because now if I, like my video that I just uploaded was talking about a VA loan. That's obviously only going to pertain to veterans. If you're an
Yeah.
agent, you're probably not watching that. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel because you're addicted or you have an addiction, probably not watching a VA loan video. So again, lesson that I've learned over the course of the last 3 years, I've recently hired a new videographer, and I'm bringing on a full-time editor, not about part-time editor, the beginning of the year. And I have created 3 new YouTube channels. Now, those 3 new YouTube channels are still in its early days, so I'm not publicly posting them because I want YouTube to kind of take off with them. I think I have a combined 4 subscribers on all 3 of those channels or something. But the goal is, as you mentioned before, I'm going to have a specific channel that is only for Dallas Fort Worth property tours, right?
Yep.
So in your case, it would be your local area doing property tours. Those are going to range from 2 to 5 minutes, and showcase homes in my local market. So if you come across one of my videos and you think that's a beautiful home in Dallas, I want to buy that house in Dallas, or I like that home in Dallas, all of the videos are going to be similar to that. Okay.
Yep.
Also, I've created an educational real estate channel locally to the Dallas Fort Worth area, meaning I'm sitting in front of this camera with this background talking about, talking about the market, talking about the pros and cons of moving to Dallas, talking about, all the educational things that people may be searching for when it comes to YouTube. And if they search and find me on my educational channel, let's say they subscribe to my YouTube channel because it was, the pros and cons of moving to Dallas. If I upload another video that is talking about the Dallas market, they're probably going to watch that too. And that again turns into what we call binge watchers, where hey, maybe I'm 12 videos down the road and someone finds my YouTube channel about educational DFW real estate content, they can subscribe to my channel and they would be interested potentially in all 12 of my videos. So they watch one, they watch the next one, they watch, and then that's
Yeah.
really where you see substantial growth. Um, and then the last channel is more of a personal desire when it comes to creating content, and it's talking about personal finance. So I've got a couple people I've watched on YouTube build followings of multiple millions, because personal finance is again a very generic topic. But I'm not going to be filming a video explaining real brokerage on a personal finance channel, if that makes sense.
Right.
So separating the content allows me to be able to build these three channels, and really it's going to be the educational home tours, where it's kind of just a test to see which one grows at a quicker pace. But again, I think I'm 2 or 3 videos into each channel, so it's still very, very early there.
So what will you do with your current KMAC channel? Will that just live on?
So yeah, I still get a ton of activity, a ton of viewership. I think if I take a look at my analytics on this particular channel,
Yeah.
I still have close to 5,000 subscribers, and I'm getting subscribers daily.
Right.
If I look at my analytics, I'm still getting 8,000 views a month, right? Or every 28 days. So I'm still getting a substantial viewership. It's not like my YouTube channel that I've created now is, and so by hiring this new videographer and editor, I'm putting out minimum 4 videos a week. So it's just really for me, it's previously I was putting out 1 to 2 videos on my main channel. Now I'm putting out minimum 4 videos a week. So a lot more content, and a lot more potential videos, again, content for people to find to either
Yep.
use me locally or subscribe and use me potentially as a referring agent to other agents in the country.
Yeah. What like just looking at the addiction video, knowing how much traction it has, then we talked about this, or your point earlier, like don't talk about something unless you really know what you're talking about. And to me, that even crosses over another line. Like in a way, it's like it's the story of you that like I got through 5 minutes and then
Oh, you
I
watched
was
it?
I was uncomfortable, not with you, but just like
Yeah.
I wasn't ready,
I've
you know?
never the story with that video is 18 to 24. I was very heavily addicted to gambling. Um, it's an addiction that's not often talked about, but today's day and age, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm not addicted to gambling now, because the ability for people to just pick up a phone and sports
Yeah,
bet
it's
is
crazy.
dangerous. For
Yeah.
me, I had to drive an hour to a casino because it was 20. Most casinos locally were 21 and up, and I was 18. So thankful in that sense, but the video also has taken off, I think, a lot more because it's an addiction that's just not spoken about. So when you have someone who's gone through that addiction, and the premise behind that video was literally, I was like, I can't talk about this stuff in front of someone. It's awkward or like weird for me. So
Yeah.
my videographer just turned on the camera. I, talked, and he chopped it up, edited it, and put it on my YouTube channel. I've never watched it to this day, but it's got 100,000 views.
I mean,
So
it's raw, it's vulnerable. Like I could imagine a lot of people watching part of that and then watching another video, and if they're interested in the VA or investing or whatever, immediately feel like I'm just going to call this guy. He's real,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I didn't obviously intend on that video to be my. I mean, comparatively, I have a handful of videos talking about VA loans, which is probably my largest. If you want to portionalize, subscriber count, the
Yep.
biggest portion of my subscribers are veterans trying to use their VA loan. My next best video has 35,000 views. So to have a video
Yeah.
have 100,000, it's 100,000 on YouTube's difficult.
Yeah.
I've
So
gotten substantially more on TikTok, but that's a whole different avenue.
yeah. At what point, and Cassandra or Erica, Kirk, Alex, please, Julian, feel free to answer or ask any questions. Cassandra, I've been stalking your YouTube channel while I've been listening. It's awesome. And now I realize I'm pretty sure I've met you at both real events. The hat, you have a good brand. At what point, I'm sitting at like 200 subs, maybe 224, and not a lot of focus in my videos. I think even more so, just a lot of stuff. I've got property tours, I've got some comedy, I've got a lot of shorts now. When did you start to see the traction in subscribers really take off?
I can show you my analytics and kind of talk you guys through what happened with my YouTube channel too. Um,
Cool.
if you don't, can I share the screen on here or no? Oh, I can. All right, I can share this then. So, I was also just taking a look at her YouTube channel too.
Make sure everyone subscribes to Cassandra as
There you
well.
go. So,
Oh no, you don't want us. Oh, I know, that's such a
it'll
thing.
mess up the algorithm.
No, don't
Um,
subscribe.
so if you take a look, and again, you'll understand why I've kind of lost a lot of my motivation or drive on this YouTube channel if you take a look at the lifetime of my analytics. So
Yeah.
down here was the 2 videos I uploaded and basically made myself and edited and then posted on Facebook. I was like, hey, look at me, I've made a vlog. And
Yeah.
then I hated editing. So this is I think this is March of 2019.
Yeah.
Then I started uploading like June of 2020. So you can see early in the days, and this is when if you do, I could probably, no, not less. All of these spikes, which you really can't see anymore because it's been such a long time. I was posting every single video to YouTube. To Facebook. So, I'd get 18 views, 49 views, but 116 views. These were just because people clicked on my Instagram link or my Facebook link, which we learned pretty quickly that that's not the best way to grow. You want to kind of let YouTube do its thing. So I really didn't see a lot of, even some days, even months later, I'd get 7 views, 11 views. It wasn't until I think I was going up to Colorado, and I started to see more viewership. And these we're looking specifically at views. I started getting more viewership when I was on vacation for Christmas. And you can see the days, going from 30, 40, 50 up to like now I'm, 100 views almost every single day. The goal for me, and I kind of learned over time, spikes are going to happen eventually as long as you're consistent. So you can see all of these viewership spikes. Okay, but the thing at the end of the day with these spikes is you still come back down to earth, I guess you could say, right? Like I had a huge spike here and I had like 400 some views, 400, 500 views in a day, but then I still came back down to reality with a couple hundred views. The goal is usually after every single one of these spikes to have, and you'll see it when I tab over to watch time, was to get more watch time. Meaning, hey, if I've got the same amount of views, I want people watching my content for longer.
Yeah.
And these spikes are, who knows what they're exactly pinpointed to. Like recently I had my addiction video here spike, up. But this period from really October of 2022 to October of 23, I just had, average viewership.
Yeah.
If you take a look at watch time, my goal here was, and I wish I could probably do a custom, let's do, okay, that's a little better. It shaves off the whole year that I uploaded 2 videos for. So my goal here is I really want this bottom this bottom part below the peaks here, really the valleys. I want the bottom part down here to continue to grow. So as you can see, especially right here, I saw a lot of growth with watch time, meaning every single day I'd have my valleys, but I'd still continue to get a substantial amount of watch time. It's not like here I had 89 hours of watch time in a day, but the next day I had, 40. I'm not concerned about the spikes. I really want to continue to grow the valleys and grow this watch time. Subscriber count, I still can't wrap my head around it. It's subscriber count's more of just like a anomaly in a sense where, I think any significant spike was me talking about my channel, so people subscribed.
Yeah.
I still to this day, have days where I don't get a single subscriber. So, otherwise it's 7, 4, 1, you know, the watch time as I continue to upload. Right here is kind of when this was a random spike from my addiction video, but really from the beginning of this year has been me being not very consistent on my main channel and trying to figure out which direction I wanted to take. I also went through, I'm with my third videographer this year. So also trying to find the right fit that's going to be able to push out a bunch of content, which I finally in the last 45 days gotten. So this is gonna continue to kind of be where it's at and then grow, when I bring on that editor in January.
So outside of consistency, were there any other tricks or tips about increasing watch time? Like your intro, was it content? What was it?
So you'll see, and obviously it's, if we could hit fast forward for a year, I'd have a lot more data for you. But you're
Sure.
going to be able to see with these 3 new YouTube channels, especially I believe the DFW educational channel, where people truly, if they're subscribing to my YouTube channel, they're subscribing to learn and understand more about my local market. If you're trying to learn more about your local market, you're likely going to watch my content consistently, especially if you believe, I'm not just bullshitting, and
Right.
I've got quality content and information to give you, because it could pertain to what is, your largest financial purchase or decision that you may make.
Yeah.
My watch time, I think if I stuck to one particular subject or topic or baseline topic on my main channel, I could have seen consistent, and I've seen consistent growth over time. It's plateaued for, periods of time, but with my new YouTube channels, I'm going to see a spike and then I'm going to see, it continue to take off from that spike. Because again, the content, everything I upload to that channel, if they're subscribed to that channel, it pertains to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. But it's certainly a good point to like, it's easy to think like, oh, I'm not getting a lot of subscriber traction, but
yeah, I would not
just like Instagram, like if they're actually on your channel for a long time, growing that base is extremely important.
Yeah, I would a subscriber count's probably the last thing I would worry about. Even if it's difficult to worry about, I would worry about it. I mean, you've got people that have 500 subscribers that are finding a substantial amount of business from YouTube, because, and even maybe more than me, because those 500 subscribers are true, legitimate subscribers that are subscribed for intentional purposes, versus just consuming of content.
Yeah. Okay. And then I just want to touch on this topic because I always find it is so interesting on the idea of, and Cassandra, I'd love your thoughts too, but like letting YouTube do its thing and not promoting what you do. Like to me, it's hilarious, right? It's like, it's almost like you create content, but like don't promote it but create the content that is going to bring in the search, right? Is there any part of that world where you do
So
promote
the
your
biggest
YouTube
thing,
page?
and like she was saying, I don't want to speak for her, but she's like, don't subscribe to my YouTube channel. What essentially YouTube is saying, oh, okay, well, people are finding this channel, but they aren't watching any of the content. Like legitimately, if all of us subscribe to Cassandra's channel, which she doesn't want us to do, who's actually going to be watching every single one of her videos from start to finish because it pertains entirely to every single one of us. I don't think any one of us has the content that she's creating. She's not creating for us, right? Now, I've I've learned a lot over the course of making my YouTube channel where I've created, real content. Now, obviously, that, as I mentioned before, doesn't pertain to buyers in the Dallas Fort Worth area, but I've kind of dabbled a little bit in a bunch of different topics where I've attracted agents to real or teams to real from my videos on YouTube. So I kind of don't want to stop doing that because I found some success in it. I don't want to stop making VA loan related topics on my YouTube channel because I've found a substantial amount of business and referral business from that. I've
Yeah.
also, you know, the addiction video is kind of like a whole different ballpark of like my addiction video actually turns into like uh fans, I guess you could say. Like I have people reaching out to me on Instagram from that video on YouTube, so, following me on Instagram and wanting to follow me and my journey in my life because they're like, hey, I'm addicted to gambling. This guy 7 years, or 10 years later is, owns $5 million in rental properties. I want to follow him because I'm in this hole now. I want to get to where he is. I need to do what he's doing. Right. So
Yeah.
I've got realtors that follow me. I've got, people that are struggling with their addiction that follow me. I've got, and that's really as a whole built, my following, I guess you could say, on social media as a whole. I would say a majority of my following on social media is not clients, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of now it could turn into this with some of my new YouTube channels that I've created, but generally speaking, my following on social media is not people, relocating to the Dallas Fort Worth area, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Um, Now on the flip side of that, I would say a lot of my following is a lot more avid and interested in me and my life because when we're talking, let's just use the DFW educational channel. Like they're going to consume a lot of my content. They're going to learn a lot potentially from my business, maybe use me as their realtor. My goal is to build that into a relationship and then continue to help them for all their real estate needs in their future.
Yeah.
But they're not following my Instagram for my daily, life or, my motivational videos. They're following my YouTube channel because they want me to help them buy. But once that purchase or sale or investment's done, as especially if I don't do my job and keep in touch with them, that relationship, could fall off versus, if someone follows me on Instagram from my addiction video, um, they may follow me. Shoot, I've had people reach out to me. I think I still have one in my Facebook DMs where he's like, I've been following you for a year and been too scared to reach out, or like a lot of people dealing with addiction that like it gets
Yeah.
progressively worse. So like he may have followed me on Instagram when he saw my video, but he's like, oh, my addiction's not that bad right now. And then a year later, he's like, I'm, at the worst point in my life. Now I feel like I have no other choice but to reach out to you kind of thing. But
Yeah.
that's someone that's been following my journey for a year or two. Um, so you kind of have a lot of lessons learned with that first YouTube video or the YouTube channel that I created, but I'm now implementing a lot of what I've learned. Now I'm not stopping creating content on my main channel, but I've, started other YouTube channels with the intention of applying a lot of what I learned with this first channel to those future channels.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to recap those, Tony, Andrew, thank you for jumping in. We're JC was just talking about how he has a main channel, and through that he's really learned to, and we're hearing this a lot in our industry, to then separate out into three different channels. So he's doing a DFW property tour channel, an educational channel for agents in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Is that right?
Yeah.
And we've been talking about, he's got this anchor video talking about his story and challenges in overcoming addiction, and how that's brought in a ton of traction, but it doesn't necessarily line up with those looking for a VA loan, or agents looking to learn about real. And so taking those different avenues. And what really hit it for me, Casey, was when you said, I don't have the binge watchers.
Yeah.
And so if you think about one video leading to the next, so that watch time is really starting to add up. We're going to binge when we initially like someone and probably the topic, and we're just going to stay within that topic. Kind of the the opposite of what TikTok is, right? It's just like a bunch of random stuff and someone's going to grab our attention, but that's not what we're on YouTube for generally. It's more educational. Um,
Yeah,
and
and that's been, I think, the biggest issue, and that has stunted my growth is I've had people subscribe to my channel for whatever various video that they found.
yeah,
Um, you know, and I mean, the same can essentially be applied to really any platform. If let's say you are scrolling Instagram Reels and you find, you know, this person that is making all sorts of fancy recipes that look good, so you follow them for recipes, and the next thing they're talking about is something not even cooking related, then you're like, why the heck am I subscribed to this person, or why do I follow this person? You know, so you kind of
I've
confuse
been
your followers.
misled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you confuse your followers, and I mean, that's just a lesson that I've learned, but it's also, it stems from me just having a lot of interest in a lot of things that I want to talk about.
yeah,
That now, you know, I've learned obviously to separate them, and you know, gonna continue to upload. I would say my main channel is now just kind of the open discussion channel, but the new channels that I've created are going to be certainly more focused. And I don't know how quickly I gained, you know, 1,000 subscribers or 2,000 subscribers, but my expectation is with these, you know, other channels, my subscriber count and my viewership and watch hours are going to be exponentially higher than, you know, what my current channel has experienced. I would say the biggest struggle people have is first of all creating a YouTube channel and saying, hey, I'm going to put myself on video, I'm going to record something, and then a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll, you know, I kind of started that way. I was like, I want to make a YouTube channel. I filmed 2 vlogs and then didn't upload for a whole year, you
hmm
know. So those are probably the two biggest things, is actually doing it and saying, hey, I'm going to get over whatever hurdle it is that I want to create a YouTube, or that's been keeping me from creating a YouTube channel, and then being
yeah,
consistent forward.
yep. What where do you go for your topics
So
besides AI? That's the easy answer.
So I actually have been implementing a lot more. I wasn't utilizing AI at all. It's just whenever, and that was a lot of what I've struggled with this year. Now because I've been creating content as long as I have, I'm like, how can I continue to think of stuff? I've literally filmed over almost 300 YouTube videos. Well, um, the good news is you continue to create content that, you know, like one of my best videos is utilizing your VA loan to purchase a multifamily, right?
Yeah,
But that's my #2 video, but it was filmed, I think it was one of my first videos ever filmed in 2020. It was like
yeah,
filmed at a coffee shop. I didn't even have an office. I could redo that video and update it to, you know, a better thumbnail and an updated, you know, make sure it's, you know, scripted and discussed, and obviously it'd be a different title and a different thumbnail.
yeah,
Another thing that I'm also implementing too, I guess my videographer, which again, a lot of it has been this year finding the right videographer to kind of go after what I'm wanting. Um, we're you know, a lot of our profession tells us to do this all the time, rip off and duplicate. So
yeah.
if I'm scrolling through Cassandra's videos and one of them did very, very well, you may see, like, actually let me pull one up here because I think it's hilarious how I think it was my most recent video. Okay, so I'm gonna share, the video hasn't, you know, gotten a ton of views, but it's the thumbnail that I ripped off and duplicated. And you guys may notice a person that I ripped it off from. So this is my YouTube channel here. This particular video here, so we started utilizing AI with these last 2 thumbnails, as well as on my new YouTube channels. But this particular video, I discussed, you know, what Reel has done for me over the course of the last 3 years. If you go to my most popular videos, you'll find a couple here with me talking about Reel here. So my Reel videos, another one here, do decent. But if I type in like Reel explained, I think it's the, oh, Real Brokerage, just type Real Brokerage explained. Um, I ripped off Malcolm's thumbnail. So
Nice.
this is one of the, mine's the second video that shows up here with less viewers than his does. Oops. Mine has less views than his does, and his is a newer video. So his thumbnail here has seemed to capture people's eyes. So I have chosen to use a very similar thumbnail if I go to my channel and apply it to my video here. So
Nice.
as far as the background and whatnot. So I know there's the video that I'm discussing stuff about there is about real, and his videos, explaining real. So I'm not ripping off entirely his whole video and word by word saying everything that he's saying. But a lot of what I'm applying in these new channels that I'm doing too is finding videos that you know doesn't necessarily, well, it can go both ways, where it's like you can apply it to your local content, but finding you're trying to find a video that has a lot of views in
Hmm.
not necessarily a short amount of time, but a lot of views comparatively to their subscriber count. If you go find, a real estate, educational video someone did in San Diego and it's got 1 million views, but they have 10 million subscribers. Okay. It's not a big deal for them to get 1 million views because they have so many subscribers. But
Right.
like my videographer brought up an idea of a video because he saw someone that had 11,000 subscribers and the video had 250,000 views. It's probably something that is either not talked about a lot or the video took off for some said reason. So if it's a local content video for her, it was a female that filmed the video. We turned around and applied it to my local market.
Yeah.
So trying to find videos that are performing well and applying, your thumbnail and your twist to it. But just there's certain videos that I filmed that get like, 60 to 80 views, and it's because either A, it's too saturated, or B, it's just not a topic that is often searched for, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a search engine.
Hmm. How important is the thumbnail, in your opinion, or research?
Um, for me personally, I so when it comes to YouTube, I have a lot of experience as a consumer, and I can say as a consumer, if a thumbnail, especially because I'm subscribed to a handful of people. A thumbnail is going to make me, at the end of the day, decide whether or not I want to click on the video. There's three things when I'm subscribed to a handful of people: the thumbnail, the title, and the length of the video.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, this is just me. Like I'm subscribed to a sports show talk guy, and he records the entire thing and uploads it on YouTube. Like the one that he just recorded for Monday is 4 hours long. I will never click on that. I'm not watching a 4 hour long YouTube video. But he also uploads small clips of that, 10, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, or whatever. And I'll read the title. And if it's something that, is interesting when it comes to sports for me, I'll watch the 8 minute YouTube video. I'll watch, when I'm eating breakfast in the morning. But, so the thumbnail, title, and length of video certainly come into play when you're trying to get people to click through rate. You're trying to get people to click on the video.
Yep.
So
What do we think is out there for, like, I guess, just the future of YouTube? Is it just continuing? Is there anything
So
new we should be
this
thinking
is
about?
this brings up a funny conversation because do you know Diane Needle up in Boston
Yeah.
area? Okay.
Yeah.
So she called me a couple weeks back. I was actually at a local real get together here in Dallas, about 100 agents or so. I stepped out and she had this 22-year-old new agent, or 20-year-old, 22-year-old new agent in the office, and she wanted to argue with me, not argue in a bad way, but like, Diane, if you know who Diane is, she's not 22 years old. She's trying to convince Diane to consider. I don't know if Diane has a YouTube channel or not. Not to make YouTube videos, but to make TikToks. Now, kind of what things are headed towards for the younger generation. She's 22 years old. There's always going to be folks that look on YouTube for utilize it as a search engine, because even if you Google something, like I'm literally going to Google real brokerage explained. Okay, what pops up is Malcolm's video. Okay, so YouTube is owned by Google. Okay, so if you YouTube something or you Google something, you're going to have videos that pop up given the nature of what you're trying to search for. I can
Yeah.
tell you video is a lot easier to understand and learn from than like trying to read an article. I'm not going to click on an article. I had it the other day. I have a BMW where I was trying to put my Christmas tree in the back, but it has like a little bar and it wouldn't fit in my trunk to be able to go in my BMW. I literally Googled BMW uh, mat or whatever, and I watched a 30-second YouTube video of how to take that thing out so I could put my Christmas tree in, literally in a Home Depot parking lot. Okay, so
You should
I'm
have
by
filmed
no means.
that.
What's that?
You should have filmed that.
Yeah. But I can't imagine how many people have done, very similar to me where they don't understand how to, undo the
Yeah.
damn thing in my BMW. But when it comes to the younger generation, a lot of folks, what they're doing, they're utilizing TikTok as their Google. They don't Google
Right.
stuff. They TikTok things, right? So TikTok is becoming a search engine for the younger generation. So a lot of what you're seeing, is, again, me as a consumer back in the day when I was in the Marine Corps at 19 and I'm 34. So 15 years ago, I was watching freaking accounting videos on mid crew in the Marine Corps because I didn't understand how to fucking do accounting, right? Kids aren't, 19 years old now are not, in the middle of the night while they're serving in the Marine Corps, they're not YouTubing how to do accounting. They're literally searching for it on TikTok. So as this older generation, and I say this being the older generation of visiting and using YouTube, as we continue to get older, you and I, Chris, you're going to have this younger generation that's already happening that is going to utilize and search for, what they need to learn on TikTok. Um,
Yep.
so what this is generating is for the younger generation, you're seeing what we call like micro influencers, someone
Yeah.
that is like what's the gal that's got like 1 million followers on TikTok? She's in Georgia. She's another big real estate agent. Uh,
Glenda,
yeah, Glenda
Glenda.
Baker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Glenda Baker,
my stars and garters.
she's blown up, and she's one of the few that has as big of a platform on TikTok. She's by no means a micro influencer, right? She's got hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million plus followers. A micro influencer is someone such as yourself. If you were, and this is what the 22-year-old was trying to tell Diane, you need to create content on TikTok about local Boston stuff. And when you get, it turns into kind of like a YouTube where you've got, if you film it right, if you put in the correct hashtags, you can find content for, I don't know what a city near you is, Chris, but they can find,
Portland.
a house in whatever city, Maine, and then they can follow you because all you're doing on TikTok is talking about Maine real estate or Portland, Maine, specifically, if we're utilizing a city. They're following you on TikTok because you're all things Portland, Maine. Now that's what a lot of people are, the younger generation are doing, but there's still always going to be that older generation when it comes to YouTube. And I say older lightly because even myself, if I need something, I'm still YouTubing it. But as we get older, that younger generation is going to continue to adhere to TikTok as their source of finding information. And as we get older, and older people get older, the YouTubers are going to fall off, and you're going to get a lot more people on TikTok searching for information, especially the younger generation on TikTok. So I would say moving forward, YouTube's still going to be serviceable as always.
Yeah.
But I would say over time, you're going to see a lot more people utilizing TikTok, or who knows, what platform it may
Yeah.
be in the future that kids adapt to, or young, teenagers, early adults adapt to, because that 22-year-old new agent that's talking to Diane may not be in a purchasing position now, but give her 3 years, she may be. And she's already telling me she doesn't YouTube shit. So she's TikToking stuff,
Right.
So
Right.
it's weird
But you
for,
can't scrub through it.
yeah. Um,
I'm sure. I'm
so,
sure
but
they'll change that.
if you follow someone who's a micro influencer, you follow Christopher Davis because he's a micro influencer in your city and he knows all things real estate in your city. He's going to be who you reach out to on TikTok when it comes to you being 25, 26, 27, purchasing your first house, but
Right.
you've been following Chris Davis for 2 years and he knows his shit when it comes to Maine real estate.
Right.
So, it's not going to, I don't think it's going to really deter or hurt YouTube, substantially, but I think you're going to see, a shift from younger folks, especially when it comes to purchasing homes, where you're going to see a lot more people, I guess, closing deals or getting clients from TikTok, especially, as we get older and newer real estate agents come into the business. A lot of them are going to find, some of them are like Linda Baker, and some people, Monica Church and stuff like that, have a substantial following already, but
Mhm.
see a lot more people, I think, find success being that micro influencer in their local city or state for all things, real estate.
Casey, that lady you were just talking about, the two people talking, I think the all-encompassing solution could be is shoot once, fire many. So if they shot 1 minute videos for TikTok, they can just upload them natively to Instagram and YouTube Shorts, so that you kind of hedge your bets that those who are 25-year-old now that are on TikTok, when they in 5 years, when they hit 30, they might periodically go to YouTube as like an encyclopedia source. So you can pop up in those two places, because we know YouTube Shorts giving out links, abilities to long form. So I would suggest to anybody, and I'm trying to get better at this myself, is whenever I shoot, I'm lately planning to shoot like 59-second videos and just go Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Shorts, and just upload them, so that wherever you are, I'm casting all my fishing poles. But it's not like I'm doing 5 videos, just do one, upload 5 times. And I think that's a way to kind of widen our net. I mean, yeah, it's probably better to focus on two, but if I can just go like this and upload to every platform like that on one video, that's probably the over encompassing thing we can do. And you never know too. I talk about, oh, TikTok might get banned. I hear that and I go, uh-oh. So I really want to make sure I have to slap myself in the head and say, dude, man, you got to start packing those YouTube Shorts, point to YouTube Long, and then copy to Instagram. But some people will copy their Instagram video and upload to TikTok, and they got the little logo, and I know they don't like each other. So I'm always been trying to tell agents that I'm willing to